We are delighted to be joined by Zibby Owens. She's the author of her latest book. This is Bookends, a Memoir of Love, Loss, and Literature. It's so good to have you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's a delight to be here.
Tell us more about this book.
Yes, this is my personal journey through the many books that I've read over the years. I don't remember what I wore in certain pivotal moments in my life. I remember what I was reading. So I tell my life story and detail all the books I was reading along the way. It's a lot about love and the grief that I've gone through and my career and really finding my voice and the help that books have given me through all of that.
Well, tell us a bit about that journey for you, because it sounds like it started at a young age, reading things like Charlotte's Web and other books like that. So what was it feeding with each book that you read?
Well, I was a really shy kid, which people might find a surprise because now all I do is talk to people on my podcast all day long. But I was shy. And for me, reading allowed me to really sink into somebody else's story. I got advice. I got feedback. They were conversations that I might not have had in real life. That sounds sad, but it's true. And I loved just how emotionally transported I would feel. I also loved to learn, and every book delighted me and taught me something new. And I have found that continued throughout my life. When I lost my best friend on 9/11, I was a mess, and I was in the middle of a very competitive academic program at Harvard Business School, and all I could do was read and escape through books. So books for me are an escape. They're a mentor and so much more. So they've been a through line for me through so much.
And you have a podcast that is dedicated to those who wish they could figure out a way to escape through a book, but just simply don't have time, or their excuses that they don't have time, myself included. So what do you tell people through that podcast about how you need to carve out that time to just lose yourself in someone else's story?
Well, I never mean to be too heavy-handed or preach about reading, but I am so passionate about it that I'm trying to share my exuberance and enthusiasm. So don't feel bad if it has fallen off the wayside, fallen off the menu of the things you do every day. In my podcast, which comes out 365 days a year, every single episode is 30 minutes, and it's an interview with an author. Wow. I believe that if you get to know the author and their story, what makes them tick, who they are, the backstory of the books, you'll be more likely to read and feel a sense of investment the way you would if you knew about a movie star and then went to go see their movie.
Isn't that true? That is so true. I think that there's such value in knowing the person who has written those words. But when you fell in love with reading, though, that wasn't necessarily the case. That hasn't really taken place until much more recent, I would think, where we have such access to people across all industries, really.
It's true. I wish it had been that way. I used to write letters to authors. My mom would help me, and we would find the addresses of the publishers. We would write letters. I actually had a pen pal friendship with this one author, also named Zibby O'Neill, who was a middle grade author, and she lived in Michigan, and we would write these letters back and forth for years, and then finally she came to New York, and when I was 10, took me to tea at the Plaza, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing to actually meet an author. And now I sit here at my desk every day, and all I do is talk to authors. It's a dream come true.
Well, you would make Eloise very proud.
It's true. Yes, I
would. Those are the books that I grew up falling in love with, where it was the Eloise series. But for people who pick up this book, what are you hoping that they take away from it?
I hope that they feel less alone. People tell me this is a very quick read. People read it in 2 days. I'm like, thank you. It took me 20 years to write this book, but that's okay. Go off and enjoy it in 2 days, or listen to the audiobook. I hope that they'll know that life is short. I've gone through a lot of loss, as so many people have, and starting in my 20s, I lost many people close to me. Mm-hmm. And so for me, my whole brand about moms not having time, or just not having time in general, it's a tongue-in-cheek brand, because yes, we don't have enough time to read, like you and your busy career and life and everything, but we also just don't have enough time in life to do all the things that we need to fit in. Right. And so my whole brand and my book, it's all a reminder that our life is short, and if we're not happy, we can make a change. And it can be something as simple as picking up a different book. It can be as life-changing as getting a divorce, moving cities, something really big. If not now, when? And so my book is a very conversational, inspiring lesson to people, because I completely changed my life. I fell in love at 40. I got remarried. I have 4 kids. My life, I've started this huge career. I now have a publishing company. I have a whole podcast network. I've done all these things, and it was so unlikely that it would all happen. And I did. So if I could do it, you could do it.
Well, you have such a fascinating story, and people will have a chance to learn more about you when you come to Charleston. You're going to be at the Charleston Library Society Friday, October 21st for a discussion. Cannot wait, folks. Make sure you sign up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We're back in 2 minutes.